Tera Patrick is arguably the most famous, historic, iconic adult star in the business. But she has an incredible story and an amazing book. And she's now a mainstream crossover actress in horror movies, and we've worked together. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce, and I'm thrilled to introduce my first guest, the beautiful, the iconic, the gorgeous, and very funny and talented, and fire red-haired Tera Patrick. Thank you. A little round of applause, Corpsy. You've been a part of Girls and Corpses magazine really since the beginning, and I want everyone to see your beautiful cover here. Let me get that so you can see. That is Tera Patrick. Oh, she's pointing. Tera Patrick on the Bayrots issue of the magazine, and this is the rear side of the magazine. So she did a fantastic job for us, and ever since this magazine, we sort of were kind of both twisted and funny. And I think we just sort of hit it off. Now, most people seem to know who Tera Patrick is, but we're going to find out a lot of things you may not know about Tera today. Lots of secrets. First of all, where were you from originally? I know you have, one of your parents is Thai, correct?
Yes. Well, first of all, I want to say congratulations on your
thank you.
amazing show.
Thank
you
you
so much for having me. And the interesting thing about Girls and Corpses is how we met. We met on the red carpet.
We did.
You were the only person I interviewed with. I went, that guy is weird and creepy. I'm going over there. And you had Girls and Corpses, and I said, how can I not talk to you? I mean, after being, just in the entertainment industry for so long, you do all these interviews, you answer all the same questions, and I went, Girls and Corpses, I need to talk to that guy. So we became friends ever since then. It's been years. But yes, my mother is from Thailand, and my father's from England. So I'm half Thai and half English. That's where I get the height and the cheekbones and the nice boobs.
And you grew up in Thailand? How long were you in Thailand?
I was actually born in Great Falls, Montana, and I was raised in San Francisco. My dad, my father went to UC Berkeley, and I'm definitely a product of
the 60s.
The 60s, I guess. Well, I'm not that old, but no, my dad raised us primarily around Berkeley, San Francisco area. So I had a really eclectic, open-minded, free-spirited
hippie
childhood.
Face paint,
face paint, mood rocks,
And so
probably a few acid trips I don't know about.
Probably in San Francisco. That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, your dad, I don't know if we can say, he has an interesting business he's in. Can we mention what the business is?
Absolutely, yes.
Tell
So I
everybody
was raised primarily in Northern California, Humboldt County, up in the wine country. My father is a winemaker, and he's also a grower. He's a marijuana grower. And my he's actually a doctor by trade. So he has a degree in chemistry, biology, and so that came in really handy when it came to making wine and making weed.
Do you get free weed from him or anything, or does he?
Absolutely not, which is so funny because as a young girl, like in my teenage years, I spent my summers working at the winery, bottling, and wine never appealed to me. My dad was horrified because I'm a gin and scotch drinker, and my father was like, I want to leave all this to you. I'm like, oh, no. Like, I don't want to work in a winery and grow marijuana. But
it's good you brought up alcohol, by the way.
Never
Would you like something to drink?
I would love something to drink.
Let me call up my assistant, Gin and Tonic, from the dungeon. Gin, are you down there?
New gin, my favorite drink.
This is Gin and Tonic. This is Tera Patrick.
Beautiful.
What would you like to drink? And she'll go down. We keep the booze down there because it's very cold. So
she doesn't look cold though. She's very hot.
She's very hot. By the way, Gin has also been in the magazine. She was in our sorority girl with Corpses issue. Have to see where that one is. Where do we have that? I may have to. Oh look, she's in this issue of the magazine, and so she's part of. But what would you like to order? And she'll go down and get it for you. What would you like?
I would love Jack Daniels on the rocks, please.
That sounds good to me. I will have a Jack Daniels too. Here, look at this. This is Gin and Tonic in the magazine. This is her. I don't know if we can get. She's one of these girls playing around. There she is.
Yay.
There she is. All right, you can go back to the dungeon. Anyhow, so
you keep girls in the dungeon?
Yeah. Well, that's how we get girls, for Girls and Corpses magazine. Although you were an exception. Now, I'm kind of going ahead a little bit because let's go back a little bit. There's so much about Tera Patrick that it's kind of hard to do this in short form. Oh, thank you.
And congratulations.
Oh, cheers.
Yay, cheers.
Thank you.
Yay.
Beautifully done. Go down there. Go down. Stay cold. Stay cold. Give the corpses a kiss for me. Now, actually, you know, for people that we're doing the Cliff Notes version of your life, but you have a book actually that covers all this. There's no cover to this book because you sold the cover to a guy in a store.
Yes.
How did that? Is this the last copy you could right now of the book? It's called Sinner Take All. Tell us about your book.
So my first memoir was published by Penguin, the Gotham division of Penguin, New York publishing company in 2010, and it's called Sinner Takes All, and it's a memoir. It was basically the first of 3 books. So the first one, Sinner Takes All, basically starts from the inception of Tera Patrick. And the number one question I always got from my loyal, great fans all these years was, why and how did you get into the industry? So the first half of Sinner Takes All touches on my early life, and then the second half kind of basically explains what led me into the adult industry, why I went down that path. I'm a registered nurse by trade. And I was pursuing a career in the medical field, kind of following in the footsteps of my father, and I ended up in the other Hollywood.
Well, I read the book, so and it's an incredible book, very honest.
you.
And I remember the moment where you decided you weren't going to be a nurse. Tell us how that happened.
Well, how I ended up in the adult industry, I was working as a nurse, and one of my patients really needed her pain medication. And she was really angry from not having a dose of pain medication. She was sitting on a bedpan that another nurse had left her on. And so I was getting ready to head to lunch, and I said, let me see what she wants. I mean, it was like I didn't want to run past a flashing call light, and she scooped up the bedpan from underneath her and she flung it at me and said, "That's what you get for not coming back." So I'm covered in urine and feces going, there has to be something out there for me. I didn't know it would be
Dirtier than the bedpan.
filthier than the bedpan, but yes, that's what led me down to the other Hollywood. Although it was actually Playboy magazine. I had posed first for Playboy magazine.
Yes.
That was my entrance into the adult industry in 1999. I did a test shoot with Playboy magazine, and they, at the time, the editor had rang me and said, "We want you to be a playmate. We loved your test shoot. Your first shoot was great." Now, mind you, I'd never done any nude modeling. I'd started off at 14 as a fashion model in New York. I'd always kept my clothes on. So when I took my clothes off, there was this moment of all the grips and cameraman of everyone standing by, and I'm like, they're not even looking at my naked body like they were, texting or doing
Didn't even
what
have
they
texting, probably, but yeah. It wasn't that long ago.
I did on like
It was that long.
Nextel. They were ancient, razor phones back then, but no, it was in 1999, so I posed for Playboy. I'd also shot for Penthouse magazine with Suze Randall. So as fate would have it, I didn't become a Playboy playmate because I'd become a Penthouse pet. And back in 1999, Playboy and Penthouse, there really was a rivalry. You could not do both of them. You had to do one or the other. But in 2002, I was Penthouse Pet of the Year, and Playboy published me on the cover. So I ended up being the only woman ever to this day in history that's ever been simultaneously on the cover, February 2002 of Playboy magazine and Penthouse Pet of the Year.
It's amazing that having been so iconic in the adult world, we're going to talk a little bit about that, but that you still really are really beautiful and still can model, and you're one of the rare performers in the adult world who didn't get thrashed.
Maybe I did, and you just don't
it doesn't
know
look
about
that way.
No.
It's completely rebuilt. Everything's been
Yeah.
redone. But you haven't had work done. I mean, you look gorgeous.
Well, I have breast. I
have
had breast
breasts?
augmentation.
Oh.
I have breasts, but I did have breast implants.
Are they larger than they were before?
Well, I was so the.
Where's the hand? By the way, the hand's there. I know you like him.
The ironic
You might
thing
want to set
is.
him.
Let me give you a hand. The ironic thing is, I started performing in adult films after I posed for Playboy. So sort of the tail end of 1999, I would say like November, December. I started doing gonzo films in 2000, 2001, and a lot of fans were like, "Oh, you were, and directors and producers, you're like the pretty girl. Why would you do gonzo?" I'm like, get it in, get it up, get it off, get it out. Like, I loved the sex. I loved the raw sex. I loved gonzo films because I liked getting on set, getting pounded, getting a check, and going out there. I wasn't trying to be an actress, and I really like his hand. But, it was a different time.
Yeah.
It was a very different time.
What's gonzo for our audiences that for the half of 1,000,000% that doesn't, know what gonzo means. How does that differ?
So gonzo films were basically there was two types of films. There was gonzo films and feature films. And feature films where you would show up, learn dialogue, learn a script, and you were on set all day. I was like, gonzo films usually, I mean, you could end up having sex with the cameraman. There was no story.
I think
there
you
was
say to camera.
to camera. There was usually a short scenario, and it was really raw.
Now, I'm going to go back a little bit because you said you're a sexual person, and not everybody in porn necessarily. They may be it for the money, and they may not be. But what I was thinking about is I would be interested to know what Tera Patrick's first sexual experience was. How did you lose your virginity?
Well, I talk about losing my virginity in Sinner Takes All, and I'm going to save most of it for Sinner Takes All, but it wasn't a pleasant experience, but it was when I was a fashion model in Tokyo.
Photographer.
It did happen with a photographer, and I've always said that, I've been retired since 2008. I continue, obviously, to license my catalog with my production company, Tera Vision, that I started in 2003. I continue to still model and shoot for my website, terapatrick.com, but I'm not actively performing in hardcore movies. And a big reason for that was I saw the initial decline of the adult industry.
Right.
The mediums of when I was in the industry to profit are not there anymore. So
What is the industry today? What is the porn industry to you? What happened?
It's a couple things. I get a lot of flack, and I've always maintained that I love the industry still. That's why my feet are still in it. I mean, I have a fleshlight, I have a novelty line, my books, my merchandise, my website.
While we're talking about it, we're going to go back
That's
to...
my vagina you're holding. No, you're holding my butt, you filthy man.
Wait, you don't have your vagina here?
I gave you my ass, so...
Tera, this doesn't look like a butthole. So can we open this?
You sure can. You can finger it. He can finger it.
Okay, I don't want to, because you might be able to sell this.
But the industry...
You're the first fleshlight girl, is this correct?
I was, yes,
Okay.
the first porn star that was...
So as you're opening this, let's go back, because I interrupted you, but you're saying that the industry, so
That's what
selling
friends
products...
do. We have conversations.
We have conversations. So the products is another way to make money, because the adult business is not the same in terms of economically.
Well, when I started, like I said, in let's say 2000, even that was the tail end of 99, 2000, the mediums were different. The consumer...
If you're in a hurry, man, you already came.
Consumer paid for their porn. Now there's tube sites. Now there's so many ways to see porn for free. And I will say with my website, what I've enjoyed about having my website is that the fans have been loyal, and they continue. If they know that if they're going to see anything, I know, right? I'm just
saying it's going to be hard to sell this. Maybe, where's my camera? Maybe we should sell your butt hole on the Movie Music Network.
Ooh.
Maybe we'll have you sign it. Is that lube?
Lube. This is water-based lube.
All right. Am I going to use this, or what? We're just going to talk about it? Because
maybe someone on here would.
Let me see.
Enjoy it.
Can I finger your butthole?
You sure can.
But would I need lube, or show me how it works?
Well, if you hit me dry, so there's my orifice.
Is that the backhand? Let's see. It's been so long, I'm not sure.
When was the last time you had anal sex? Actually, not many men have had anal sex with Tera Patrick, so here you go. This is your chance.
Now, it's very...
This is your chance.
It's very soft, although firm. This is a butt that's been working out. A little workout. Now, look. This is
Squats on squats.
Can I... Now, I would need lube to put my finger in your ass.
Well, are we talking real life or fleshlight? No, go in there. I say go in.
I was... Really, just go in.
I
Which
say
finger
go.
is the best to stick in a girl's ass? You think the middle one?